again. That girl is looking for friends, no.
We're all from Wisconsin, originally, is where we met. And that, I would say, is the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up together. This is my brother.
True.
Brothers, we've been playing, I mean, I've only ever played music with these guys. We've been in New York playing together for over 6 years. And sort of, it's been one long developmental process that continues to develop as the human nature is. So. We definitely played music in Madison before it was cool to play music in Madison. So there wasn't, and not to disparage any of the Madison bands from circa 1999, but there wasn't a whole lot going on there like there is now. I mean, the truth is, as a group, we grew up in Wisconsin, and that's where we were kids, and that's where we all knew each other for the first time. But we've definitely come into our own as humans and as musicians in New York, is the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
We have a lot of ties to Madison, and I feel like I'm almost kind of out of touch with the scene in Madison, which is why it's been really refreshing to actually see it grow. As we've been, I like to look at it from far away and say like, wow, I'm really proud of Madison, because when I first started playing music a long time ago, there weren't as many places to play, for one, but there wasn't a quality, I think, to a certain degree as well. And now it's awesome. Every time I go back, I hear rumors of a new place opening up or a new band that's springing up, and I think that's amazing. And we've had a very different experience, and as much as we are from Wisconsin, I would definitely call us a New York band through and through, just because that's where we cut our teeth.
But hey, just, Midwest, we're saying the roots are how the tree grew.
I mean, I don't want to say that we're responsible for the Midwest music resurgence, but
legally we can't say that.
But you can edit this however you want. Well, 3 years ago, we were sitting in the living room on the Lower East Side, and now we're in Williamsburg. And I mean, and actually, that is an interesting way that it's changed. Absolutely. It certainly was centered way more in a different part of the city. And I think that it's spread considerably more to the outskirts of the boroughs. I mean, obviously, especially Brooklyn. So that's certainly a new way we're seeing it. We've never really been involved in CMJ the way I see a lot of bands are. We've never really done the, 4 shows a day for 4 days. We've always sort of tried to come up with like a project for the week and put our focus onto that project and say, it's fitting that our event this week is the last day of CMJ, and it's sort of like cap it off, like we're gonna try and put our energy into like, spreading the word this time and making those connections, and then like, and the grand finale, Saturday night,
There it is.
We don't do that 1:30 in the afternoon. It's way too early.
That's when we like to do interviews.
I think that a big part about New York, especially moving from a place like Wisconsin to New York, is that you realize that there, of course, are harsh realities out in the world, but there's an amazing way of dealing with that. And for us, it was music, but also exposing yourself to a place with history like CBGB's had, which is kind of the seedier side of things, the younger side of things, and seeing them stretched into something that had as much energy as that place did. It was really interesting, and at the time it was really seminal and important for us to be there, to be exposed to something that still had the energy of people who were influencing us so much. Like a lot of the late 70s punk acts that came out of there. It was awesome to be a part of it, and it was, again, sad to see it go, but it had to go anyway. It had been dying a death, and it was very apropos for it. The timing was great, and I'm very happy now that it's like a John Varvatos basement or something like that.
We actually did, when it was closing, Air America did a presentation from the club, like Save the Club, and we played as like the house band, in and out of all the commercial breaks and everything. And Richard Hell came to speak, and he was like our idol. And he came and they're like, you know, why should we save CBGBs? And he said, you shouldn't. You should let it die. And we were like, damn, this guy's for real.
He's perfect.
And he did, and he basically, like, that was his message. And he's like, this is not CBGBs, you know, it was this other thing, now it's a t-shirt, basically. And it's, you know, that's what it is. It's not anything else but what it is. But it's not like this special thing that needs to be saved in terms of, you know, the box.
Right.
And it was, I felt like, I remember being like, all right, that was formative.
Yeah, it was nice to be able to just contribute at least, even just like the smallest pebble into that very large, tumultuous water that was punk music.
I would say mostly what we've been up to during this break has been just a lot of life. You know, a lot of, I think you see it with, I mean, everybody goes through like these cycles, and there's sort of these periods where you're going out all the time, right? You're like hanging out with your friends, and then there's like these hibernation periods. And for us, it was like a hibernation due to a lot of things. And now we're, I mean, even just this afternoon, we're kind of like rediscovering ourselves and regrouping. And I mean, I think it's, I wouldn't even say like that we have refound, but are trying to like refine like this bond and this excitement for this thing that still drives all of us, you know, being music.
We have a lot of material that we've written over the past, you know, a couple years as well. That's just kind of waiting for us to, yeah, again, define and kind of organize almost. We're really lucky that we have 3 songwriters in the band, and so in that time, we've all just continued to express ourselves, and the way that we do that best is through writing songs. And a big upside of that is that we have a fairly large backlog of material that I think is just really, really fantastic. And the next, for me at least, what I would like us to do is just push ourselves as far as we possibly can on the next set of recordings that we do and the next set of shows that we do. And I'm really excited to see what we come up with, because we have a lot to say after being out of it for a little while.
I think we were getting to this point when we sort of stopped doing stuff for an extended period of time, that we were, I mean, I think maybe for the first time at the end of this point where we were doing a lot of activity. You know, we were doing a lot of performances and a lot of appearances in all of these different sort of settings. And, you know, the question would be asked, and we'd ask ourselves, like, what are you doing? And I think it finally got to the point where it was like, oh, like there was no answer to that. And I think that everybody was trying to justify in a certain way. And at that point, we all sort of like took time to think about that question and are finally now reapproaching the question again. and maybe we just got distracted for a while. But so now there's a clearer idea. And I mean, like, as much as anybody should be, I'm looking forward to at least coming up with more questions. Because I promise no answers. As this interview is.
Well, that was an answer right there.
Proving example of.